take this spike, and what I want to do is I want to split this spike about that much. I then want to separate these two pieces. I want to ultimately take this smaller top piece that I leave on the top of the spike and the point, and I want to distress that to the point where it's actually going the other way, and that's going to be my tang. That'll leave me a big piece of metal hanging out here, which again, I've never tried this, I've never seen it done, so I'm not sure how it's going to work. But the plan is to stretch that out and to wrap that around to make a skeleton handle over what I'm hoping to leave as the full tang. Give a nice grip, hopefully keep the handle light enough so that I end up with a pretty centered blade, and then actually make the knife. So that's the plan. We'll see how it goes. Alright, so with the surface grinder, I cut my slot in there with a cutoff disc. It's cheating, but I'm okay with that. The one on top, that is going to actually be turned. I might even just twist it. We'll figure out what we're going to do when we get to it. That's going to be turned sideways to become the full tang, so it'll actually be a tang of about that, by that thick. Maybe an eighth, a little bit more. And then this bottom part, I need to actually turn into, I'm thinking a 1/4 inch round. I'm thinking if I squeeze that and stretch it out, 1/4 inch, maybe a little less than a 1/4 inch round. That'll give me my wrapping steel that I can wrap around the handle. So that's step one. Now we're going to go ahead and try to start stretching out this bottom piece. Alright, this is going to be some tricky business. I think the first thing I want to do is try to separate that steel a little bit. So I'm going to separate it with the wedge here. I don't know for sure how to do this right. So we're going to do it what makes sense. But I kind of want to split that steel away from each other. I really don't want to distort the thinner side. That's supposed to stay as it is. But at the same time, I need to work both sides. So I think I'm going to go ahead and split this. Well, actually I am. Just to give me some room to work here. Alright. So again, I really don't want to distort this, but that should give me enough room to maybe start stretching out this thicker side a little bit. At least that's what I'm hoping to go. Kind of stretch that thicker piece out without hitting that other piece. So it's going to be a slow process. So we're slowly stretching it out. I have to spread it again, and got to be able to get on the back side of it. So at this point, it's still up in the air as to whether this is going to work. Go ahead and stretch this out a little more. I think I'm okay with that. Just don't want anything to rip at this point. Just trying to find any place I can get a hold of an edge on that to help stretch that end out. Alright, I'm going to try to stretch that out a little bit more. I really wish I could cool this back side down a little bit. Not sure if that's a good way to do it or not. You need that stretched out in order to get into the back of it. So I can start working it that way. I think that's not a bad idea. Again, I gotta really get this stretched out, like 20 inches stretched out. I think I can use this at the side of the anvil now to do that. Here goes nothing. Basically, I'm going to use this upright as a real horn, which I don't really have. There we go. Now we got a little stretch out of it. Well, I'll tell you, when I get an idea, I sure do get a doozy of one. This is turning out to be a heck of a lot of work. I'm having a lot of trouble getting in to both ends of this thing. If I had an anvil with a halfway decent point, I might be able to do that, but I got to try to stretch that right up to where that groove is without ripping this cutout, and I'm having a hell of a time trying to do that, but it's happening. It's just happening extremely slowly. I'm not working on the weight of the anvil. I'm working on this bouncing around crazy ass thing. I don't know. Trying to do this in one piece and having it work might just be a little too much. We're going to find out. Well, I'll tell you one thing. If this works, it's going to be a one of a kind forever, because this is just way too much work. Way too much work for me to do what I'm doing here. And the nice thing about it is my original idea, which is not what I'm working on right now, is actually similar to this, but this is proving that it's going to be a lot less work. My original idea, anyway. So, if I ever get this one done, moving on to the next one is going to be a lot easier. I got a long ways to go, but it is stretching. Oh boy, we are having fun today. I'm telling you this. This hasn't broken yet, so I guess that's a good thing. I don't know where we're going with it, but it's going somewhere. I don't know. Stretching. Alright, so it may have been damn near impossible. So if I had a horn, a much sharper horn, I might have been able to do that. But what happened was this top piece started buckling underneath, and as I started stretching this side, that broke off. So at this point I had failed at what I was trying to do. I was trying to stretch this without it ever being separated. It takes you back to one of my original ideas, but totally opposite of what I wanted to do. So I'm gonna keep going with this, and then I'm gonna have to sacrifice my integrity and go ahead and weld that piece back on when I'm done. But what this allows me to do now is actually split these two. If I had my way, I would have kept the tang onto the head and cut this piece off, the narrow piece off, and then stretch that out. That would probably be the easiest thing to do. Bring it on back, weld it back on, and then and do the wrap I want. So I'm quite the opposite of what I want to do. I think in the end I'm going to be okay. So I'm going to stretch this out, clean everything up, get it stretched out the way I want. It'll be much easier now, and we'll see how it turns out.